What's up, y'all? Welcome back. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really excited to post this video. This is gonna be my first episode of my spooky season series. If you know me, you know that I started doing this series last year, and I tried to post almost every day of October. And this October, I'm for real trying to take this shit seriously. I've recorded so many makeup looks, and this look is actually from like July, and I was gonna post it, but I was like, you know what, I might as well just wait until October to post it. Might as well. But I got this prosthetic off of Camera Ready Cosmetics. It's from, I think, the Rubberwear brand, and I'm not gonna lie, like, yes, those prosthetics are a lot cheaper than the prosthetics I had like bought beforehand, like from Dyad. Like Dyad's prosthetics, they're a little bit expensive, but I mean, I feel like they're worth the money. Like, they're expensive for a reason. But I actually like found this like special effects shop on, what's it called, Etsy, and I think it's like Medusa FX. I love theirs so far. Like, I've used a couple different ones, and I feel like it's just a lot easier because, like, if you look at this one, like, I cut out so much footage of me trying to blend the edges with this alcohol, and plus it wasn't even like the right like percentage. You're really supposed to have like 90% or something, but I had like 70%, so I tried and then it wasn't working, so I literally just decided that I was gonna take this liquid latex. Like, I had looked up how you can like blend the edges, and like a website had said liquid latex, which I had like recently bought at that time. So I decided to go ahead and like try to see, and I feel like it did a pretty good job. Like, I wish it was a little bit more seamless, but this was like, I don't even know, maybe like my fifth or sixth prosthetic look, and I've done a lot more prosthetic looks, since then, and I really want to do more. Like, I truly would love to be like a special effects makeup artist. I feel like that was just like, I don't know, like, I've been thinking about that for a couple years now, and I really want to get like, certified in certain things. But it's also like, I feel like the makeup industry is suffering just because I feel like a lot of like luxury services, things that aren't necessarily required, I feel like they are struggling right now just because of like the recession going on and everything going on, which I hate. And it's just like, it's been just kind of confusing for me, like, in particular, because it's like I'm teaching, but I don't necessarily want to teach. Like, I would much rather do makeup, for a living, or like something else, like, creating, like, illustrating and stuff like that. But I feel like the job market has been absolutely fucking terrible. Like, terrible. When I say terrible, like, literally horrendous. And I don't think a lot of people understand until you're like trying to get out of a certain situation how bad it is. Because, baby, like, the new job I got, like, that was one out of like 20 something companies that even responded. Nobody else responded. Like, and the thing is, like, so many companies nowadays, like, they want you to have all these experiences, and it's like, where are the entry level positions? Like, there's like no entry level positions at this point, which sucks, is because it's like, you have to kind of be in your career. And it's like, if you're trying to switch careers, it's kind of hard because it's like you can't really find anything that's going to pay decent or just enough for you to even scrape by. And I fucking hate that. So, yeah. But anyways, going back to this look, I really want to do like an all pink moment just because it was this sound effect, and I think it was like, ooh, pretty, or like pink. It was something about pink. And I was like, yeah, we finna do an all pink look. And y'all know I really like pink. Like, growing up, I hated pink just because I feel like it was like forced on me. And it's like I was in love with like all those like oceany colors and stuff like that. And I really wasn't like, I don't know, I was kind of forced to wear like, certain things growing up and be a certain person. Like, a lot of people don't even know that much about me. But baby, the Ariel that exists now, yeah, that Ariel would have been like rejected so fucking hard back then growing up. That's why I was like really molded into like who everybody wanted me to be. And I was a people pleaser and stuff like this. I'm over here just ranting. I'm just fucking talking at this point. So, enjoy the show. Enjoy the fucking show. But like, real shit, like, and trigger warning, we're gonna talk about not so happy things, depression and whatnot, and the serious effects and stuff like that. But like, a lot of people don't understand that like I was like severely depressed like my freshman year of high school, and like, a couple years, it's been other times when I've been like really bad, to the point where I was like self-harming and having not so happy thoughts, but I've come through that. And sometimes I have my moments where I still feel certain things, or I get certain urges, because yes, I don't want to do it. And it's like I've been clean from self-harm for like years now, and it feels good. But when you have those random thoughts that do pop up when you're overwhelmed, or you're anxious, or you're like sad, something happens, like, I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I blame myself, or I'm guilty. But it's like, I'm trying so hard not to do stuff. And it's just like, me as a person, like, I really feel like makeup is something that just helps me deal with everything I get to create. And I feel like it takes like time away, or like it just like gives me something to do, because I'm gonna be honest, like, I be really in my own energy. It's not because I don't want to have friends and stuff like that. It's just like, I feel like Me being a teacher, I'm overly like stimulated like 24/7. I have to help control 20 something, I have 100 plus kids every day that I see. And it's like, trying to help like balance the energy in the room and like balance everything on top. Cause like, sometimes I have my fucking days, like, I deal with shit. And sometimes I feel like I just get to a point where I just like, I start feeling everything. And it's like sometimes it's interesting because it's like, I have certain ways of how I deal with stuff now. And it's like sometimes, you want to revert back to things that made you feel better like back then. And like, I just feel like sometimes you can feel guilty. Like, it's like, oh, why do I need to do this? I'm strong. I've healed through a lot of this stuff. I've like worked through some of this stuff. And yeah, you can do all that, but you're never fully healed. And sometimes, I just feel like sometimes you just have those moments. And to just not put so much pressure on you. Like, I really had to just really praise myself because I feel like I've been struggling a lot. Like, this school year has been a lot. Like, in certain ways it's better, but in other ways it's like I'm stressed out and I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious, I'm irritated because I'm trying to do my best every single day, and sometimes it feels like my best isn't enough. And sometimes it's like I'm tired of trying to force people to listen to me, and like people want to like blame classroom management, and it's like I try my hardest. Like, I'm not terrible at classroom management, but it's like, how am I supposed to control all these kids being childish as fuck, throwing shit, hitting each other, like literally having to fit because somebody took their pencil? These are like little kids and they're in middle school. And it's sad that like, people have to come and have conversations with me about my classroom management. Basically, like, you kind of have to treat them like they're little kids, like they're babies. Like, they want to do certain things. Like, you really have to treat them like they're kind of in elementary school, which I feel like that's a conversation within itself because, now I see, because last year I was high school and I feel like a lot of those kids acted like they were in middle school. And I just feel like there's like a regression about like just, like just states of being. Like, I feel like there are just certain kids who are like, I don't even know, I want to say immature, but it's just like they don't act their age in a way. And it's like, I know, because I'm not that old. Like, I'm really not that old. And it's like, I remember what was happening when I was growing up, and it's just like, it just feels like a whole disconnect. And it's just like, how do we create this big ass gap where like kids are struggling with like, reading and doing basic things like basic math and stuff, like can't even say what's 4 times 8. They struggle to answer that, without having to count on their fingers, and we're in like high middle school. Or, the kids, like, they don't really know how to control themselves in the way. When I say control themselves, like, they don't know how to self-regulate. And, they're doing things that, they probably shouldn't be doing at this age. And I just feel like there is so much going on in the world right now, especially in our country. And it's just like, I recognize stuff. Like, I'm someone who, I try to see things for who they are, and like, I try to learn from certain things. And it's just frustrating being at this point because it's like, I feel like I know how to make certain situations better, and it's frustrating when you can't make them better because other people don't want to actually change, or other people want things to be done a certain way, so they will reject things that could help everybody improve just to like be like, I'm in control, you feel me? And I just feel like that's just like not conducive to a good work environment. And it's like, you will never win because you will lose the people who genuinely care. You will lose those people who really actually want to make a change, and you're stuck with people who couldn't give a fuck less, like, but that's just a whole nother fucking topic. But back to the makeup. I'm not gonna lie, like, when I say I love special effects makeup, I'm absolutely in love with special effects makeup, and I feel like my love has really grown within the last couple of months because, I found, a really good like prosthetic company who, actually makes quality prosthetics, and they actually have like colors, like they're not just like the white like ish flesh or like whatever color that is supposed to be. Like, they have options for like, all different skin tones, and like to have something that I feel like I can kind of like use that's related to me, because it's like when you have like the white ones, like, yes, you can try and make it like look as close as possible, but it's not the same. It's not close enough to my skin tone for it to kind of match, and me not have to try to do too much to like make them like look like they're one tone in a way. But yeah, I really want to do a lot more special effects makeup looks. There are a couple of other prosthetic looks that I need to do because I actually have some prosthetics left over. I've just been like trying to like plan them out correctly and like do it, how I need to do it, because it's like there's one look and I'm paying a good little pretty penny for prosthetics, but I don't don't even fucking care. Like, this is literally just something that makes me fucking happy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Me doing my makeup, even though there are times where like I'm like, oh, I need to do my makeup because like, you know, I'm doing this whole spooky series in the series, and I've been having to do like so many looks on the weekend and stuff when I do have free time. And sometimes I'm like, bro, I don't even want to do my makeup, but it's like when I get into it and I start creating, it just feels just so good. And I feel like it's just a way for me to just be creative, you know, because yes, I am an art teacher, and honestly a lot of times I don't want to even do like the traditional like art stuff. And I don't know, I love makeup. I feel like makeup has been an outlet that I've, you know, been using since I was in high school, and I feel like that has also helped with just like my anxiety and my depression, because you know I've been diagnosed with like, you know, depression and social anxiety. That was in high school, so you know that's a diagnosis that has been there. And you know, I know that I've have a lot of other things that I probably should, you know, get checked on, but you know, we're making it through, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pretty sure I have an eating disorder. Like, I've been on diets since I was like 11, and I'm not necessarily on a diet now, but it's just like my weight fluctuates 24/7. And then like, you know, I have to be a lot better now, because like it's been points where like when I get stressed out, I really don't actually get hungry. And it was a point where like I really wasn't eating, and like me not eating and me really not just taking care of myself, that has kind of caused me to have migraines. And I really don't have my migraines as much anymore, you know, as long as I'm actually eating and really just taking care of myself, filling up my cup and not trying to drain it too much. I feel like I'm good. But it's like I've I feel like I've just struggled with my body image, because you know my body changes so much, and it's just like sometimes it's frustrating and sometimes it's just overwhelming, because you know growing up I feel like I was always self-conscious about my weight because of certain people and like what they were pushing on to me, because you know I've been basically called fat since I was a little kid. And like when I look back at pictures of me, it's like I'm not fat. It's just like I'm just, you know, they'd be like, oh, she big boned or something like that. Like, I don't think that I was really ever made to be like skinny, because I remember a couple years ago, and when I say a couple years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, I was like 180, 190 consistently. And it's just like back then, you know, I was all happy because, you know, there was somebody in my life was like, well, you might as well, they were like, you know, you should just try to get to this weight, you know, at least once, just to see how it feels and stuff. And I did, and I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming them at all. But it's like, when I look back at that, and it's like I see that I literally was skin and bones, like dead serious. I had no muscle. Like, I was thin as hell. I looked like I didn't eat because I was not eating. And just having to face a lot of times, like, you know, why I was struggling in certain parts of my life, and like, you know, the roles I played, and just really having to like change my like way of life, because you know, yes, there are times now when like I get stressed out and I like don't eat. And like, you know, as a teacher, I feel like it's hard to eat anyway, because you know I really don't have that much time. And then sometimes you're just overstimulated. It's like I just want to be quiet, and I just want to like sit here for a second and just breathe, so I can like recalibrate for my next classes and stuff. And I've been really having to like get myself to eat more, because you know, I'm not gonna lie, like there was a point like a year and a half ago when I had first got, you know, I was like really I was fucked up. I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember like being in class and literally having to just like literally sit there like and try to calm myself down, because I literally thought I was finna pass out, and I probably almost passed out. My blood count was crazy out of whack, like literally crazy as labels. I had like high blood pressure. I was having all these different things going on. And then like, you know, I ended up having to go do like a fucking head scan so they can figure out what's going on, make sure there's nothing wrong going on. And then I found out I have like migraines and stuff. And it's just like I really had to like just recenter myself and like my life and stuff. And like, yes, there are times when I get stressed out, like I said, and I don't want to eat. And it's like I have to be like, Ariel, you have to eat. You have to eat. And I remember like when I had first found out I had migraines and stuff like that, it was a lot of stuff going on, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I remember like breaking down so many times, because like I wasn't hungry, and I was getting so frustrated, because it's like I needed to eat, but like I only eat like, you know, a little kid's meal as much, like for one day. Like that's about how much food I was eating in one day. And I just remember how like just down and just bad I felt, because I felt like I wasn't doing good enough, because I was like, look, like I'm supposed to eat, and I was like crying because I literally could not eat. Like I did not have appetite. I would get full in 2.0 seconds, and then 2.5 seconds, and it was just overwhelming. And to just see where I am now, like yes, I have my days, and yes, I have my issues still, but to just see how much I've grown, like I'm really just appreciative of everything, and I'm really just grateful for like the life that I live right now. Like, yes, there are certain things that I want to add to my life. There's certain things I would love to take away and replace with, better things, in my opinion. But I'm just in this new chapter, and I feel like it's really like, I feel like certain things are like falling into place. I'll be 27 in a couple months, and I just feel like I'm just like, my mindset has changed about a lot of stuff, and what I actually want my life to look like, and what I'm looking forward to. I really kind of figured out what I want my life to be, because what I wanted my life to be a couple years ago, like, is nothing compared to what I want my life to be. Like, the last relationship I had was over 3 years ago, and I remember wanting that relationship so bad, and wanting things to work out, and wanting to get married, and wanting to have this all this family stuff. And it's like, since I've been able to be out of debt for so long, I realized how much, like, the things that I said I wanted, I really would have hated to have, honestly. And sometimes it just feels like a blessing that, even though I wanted certain things in life, like, I feel like spirit was like, no, like, you say you want that, but you don't really want that. And they kind of gave me like little tastes of those things, and they're like, see, you don't want it, like, we'll give you a little something, so you can say like, okay, they listen to me. But it's like, I've just had the chance to really just self-reflect, and just like realize that there are certain things that I wanted when I was younger that I no longer want. And I feel like that's something to just honestly, like, just take to heart, because our younger selves, like, they didn't know any better in certain situations and stuff. And it's really important to honor the future that you want to have, and try to do the things that you want to have. So I've just been being real intentional, and like really just trying to plan out my next steps. But yeah, this is the end of this video, and I just want to say I love y'all so much, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.